Wealth is breaking ground on your biggest project yet. Worth is giving the people who build it a solid foundation. Wealth is shutting down the office for Mike's retirement party. Worth is giving the employee who spent half his life with you the party of a lifetime. Wealth is watching your business grow. Worth is watching your employees grow with it. Principal, for all it's worth.
Even though we're all doing things differently, at Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield, our promise to our members has not changed. We're still with you. You can count on us to answer your health insurance questions, to help you access the care you need, without cost being a barrier. We'll get through this together. You can count on Wellmark to cover you in the communities we call home.
A doctor. You don't need to feel sick to feel better. You don't need to be unwell to get well. What you do need is a primary care physician or provider at Sanford Health. Better health care starts with regular wellness visits and a familiar face who knows you, your concerns, and your goals. We're here before you need us. We're here when you need us. We're here after you need us. We're here for you. Sanford Health. Health lives here.
Good evening, and welcome to Day 2 of the 2021 SME Women in Business virtual event. I'm Jan Fettrell, Board President of the Sales and Marketing Executives of Sioux Falls. On behalf of the SME Board of Directors, we would like to thank you for tuning in to tonight's presentation. We have an amazing night of celebration and inspiration ahead of us, starting with the Women of Excellence Awards. The awards tonight honor 5 dedicated and deserving women making a difference in our community. We'll hear stories about how they have made an impact on their colleagues and the community amidst the challenges of this past year. In addition, our featured evening keynote is none other than Erin Brockovich. Sales and Marketing Executives of Sioux Falls means different things to different people. For many of you, the Women in Business event is all you know about our organization. Actually, we are hard at work all year long. Our mission is to advance the personal and professional growth of executives in sales and marketing management through the interchange of ideas, educational opportunities, and the fostering of fellowship among our members. Each month, our members have access to national speakers who present on a wide range of topics, all geared to help us hone our skills in the sales and marketing industry. If you are a current member, we sincerely thank you for your membership. If you are a sales or marketing professional looking for a place to become more involved in exciting programs and activities, please check us out at SMESiouxFalls.org and consider becoming a member. It is now my pleasure to introduce the 2021 Women in Business Committee Chair and one of our MCs for this evening, from Stifel Investments, Karen Starr.
Thank you, Jan, and good evening, everyone. This is our 40th annual SME Women in Business event, and it is my honor and great pleasure to serve as chair of the Planning Committee. I will admit that in my wildest dreams, I could never have predicted what our community would go through this last year. I'm extremely proud and grateful for the women leaders on our Planning Committee. We came together month after month with Plan A, B, C, and even DEF. Although this year's event has been modified for a digital format, I can assure you that you're in for a real treat this evening as we come together yet again to recognize, honor, and celebrate the Women of Excellence nominees and award winners, and to be inspired by a dynamic keynote, Erin Brockovich. I hope that as you listen to the many stories and accomplishments from these outstanding women, that you'll be encouraged to discover your own purpose and passion, and that you'll have the courage to share your positive energy and unique gifts with others. We have a saying around here, empowered women empower women. And speaking of empowered women, let me introduce this year's Vice Chair from the Sioux Empire United Way, Miss Olivia Essig.
Thank you, Karen. Good evening, everyone. I echo so much of what Karen said. This past year has been one of rethinking and reimagining for so many of us, and this committee was no exception. I would also like to truly applaud Karen for leading us through such a challenging and ever-changing time as our event chair this year. On behalf of the entire committee, we are so thankful for your leadership, optimism, and tenacity. Now, it's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy the evening as we recognize, honor, celebrate, and become inspired to be the best version of ourselves.
We know that events like tonight wouldn't happen without the generous support of our sponsors. Let's take a moment to acknowledge and thank these organizations for their commitment to SME Women in Business. You'll see each of their logos prominently displayed throughout the evening at the bottom of your screen. Our gold sponsors are First Premier Bank, Premier Bankcard, Sanford Health, Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield of South Dakota, and MIDCO. The Women of Excellence Award sponsor is Principal Financial Group.
Our silver sponsors are Avera, Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort, Gunderson's, LaurieBelle's Boutique, and Vance Thompson Vision Kalon Medical Spa. Hats off to our media and production sponsors, Kelloland Media Group, Kello FM 101.9, and Pinnacle Productions.
Some time ago, we asked our gold sponsors to share with us a few words about why their ongoing commitment to the SME Women in Business event was so important. And here's what Lisa Gerner from First Premier Bank, Premier Bankcard had to say. We'll hear from the rest of our gold sponsors throughout the evening.
For Premier to be a sponsor of this event, I think it fits right in with our values. We are very dedicated to be active supporters in the community, as I think you know. Supporting women is just an extension of that. It's a logical extension. I also feel it's important that, we are committed to being an organization that shows our support and value of women and their contributions that they make in business. So I think it's a natural fit for us.
To make tonight even more exciting, our gold sponsors have generously provided some fun prize giveaways. We'll be spinning a wheel to select the winners.
From First Premier Bank, Premier Bankcard, we have a pair of PowerBeats Pro headphones valued at over $200. Let's spin that wheel to see who the lucky winner is. The winner is Deb Fisher-Clemens. All right. In addition to our sponsors, we'd like to take a moment to recognize and thank the extraordinary work of our Women in Business Planning Committee. Words cannot adequately express my gratitude for each one of you. This year's event in particular was a true test in perseverance, collaboration, and the ability to think outside the box. I sincerely thank each one of you.
And last but not least, we'd like to recognize and thank the SME Board of Directors for their ongoing support, and in particular, our Executive Director, Casey McCarthy. She has worked many long hours behind the scenes, and sometimes in front of the camera, as we got creative with marketing and promoting the event. Thank you, Casey, for all that you do.
Hey, Olivia, I think it's time for another sponsor giveaway, don't you? This one is brought to you by Sanford Health. But first, let's hear from our very own Stacy Reitzman about why it's so important for Sanford Health to be involved with women in business.
I think serving on the Women in Business Planning Committee is almost as much fun as attending the event itself. Through the time that I've volunteered my time on the planning committee, I have met wonderful friends, some of which I consider lifelong friends and mentors of mine. In the role that I am in at Sanford Health and Community Relations, I get involved in a lot of community events. I serve on a lot of boards and committees, and this is one that is worth every minute of the time that I spend on the planning committee.
Sanford Health has provided a treatment from Vivaz Medical Spa of Restylane Kiss Lip Filler, valued at $650. Let's spin the wheel to see who the lucky winner is. The winner is Addie Graham Kramer. Congratulations, Addie.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to celebrate 44 phenomenal women in our community and recognize in particular 5 sensational ladies who have exemplified the qualities in each of our award categories. Nominees for each category were judged blindly, meaning their names and all identifying information was removed prior to their nomination review. Each winner will receive a beautiful crystal vase personalized with their name, along with a bouquet of flowers to commemorate their award. Let's begin with excellence in sales. Nominees for these awards excel in the field of sales and have made a significant contribution to their company's overall revenue and growth. The nominees in this category are Katie Ashmore, Luann DeGrief, Nichelle Lund, Amy Mithelman, Jenny Nichols, Olivia Nigling, Arla Schultz, and Dawn Van Nieuwenhuizen. And the winner for this year's 2021 Excellence in Sales Award goes to Luann DeGrief with South Dakota Retailers Association.
Congratulations, Lou. Way to go, Lou.
So deserving.
We're so proud of you.
Job well done.
Lou, we are incredibly proud of the work you do for SDRA and its members. Congrats.
Luann's accomplishments include bringing on 175 new members in her first 15 months with South Dakota Retailers Association. She has had success recruiting long-standing businesses who have not yet been asked for membership, as well as new entrepreneurs. The balance of anchor businesses and startups as new members is helping to provide both stability and freshness in the membership base of the organization. Luann is even a resource to companies who do not sign up for membership. By not focusing on a quick sale, Luann assists business owners in ways that will contribute to their success, as well as create loyalty to her and the organization. Prior to her current position, Luann spent more than 25 years in media sales, working successfully in newspaper, radio, and television. Beyond her sales career, Luann is a member of numerous chambers of commerce in her territory, as well as an active volunteer for Junior Achievement, where she is helping to foster the next generation of business people. She is active in her church worship team, playing piano and keyboards for services and events. Luann is a member of SME of Sioux Falls and has been on our planning committee for the SME Women in Business event for many years. Again, congratulations, Luann.
Our next category is Excellence in Marketing. Nominees for this award excel in their field of marketing and advocate for their business and their marketing industry within the community. The 10 nominees for Excellence in Marketing are Becca Berger, Samantha Chapman, Michaela Greenfield, Kayla Heising, Molly Cruzfeld, Mickey Lundeen, Courtney Nelson, Jessica Potter, Tracy Satoff, and Kelly Sprecher. And the winner for this year's 2021 Excellence in Marketing Award is Kayla Heising with Greater Sioux Falls Chamber of Commerce.
Kayla Heising is a master marketer. She's a trailblazer. She has led YPN to some record-setting years. Congratulations, Kayla.
Greater Sioux Falls Chamber of Commerce, Kayla has elevated our YPN brand to national prominence. We appreciate everything you do. Congratulations on the honor.
Kayla Heising, my dear friend and colleague, she embodies the word excellence. I'm so proud of her, and I'm so darn proud to know her.
Kayla is a master marketer of a member-driven organization. In 2016, Kayla took over the Young Professionals Network of the Greater Sioux Falls Chamber of Commerce and successfully rebranded and launched a new website and logo. She has increased the organization's social media engagement by over 300%, increased sponsorship dollars by 86%, and increased membership dues revenue by over 20%. Kayla is always ready for new challenges and opportunities to deepen her sales, leadership, and marketing skills. She launched 10 new programs to her organization, helped create and host over 60 events in 2019, and took over as the coordinator of the Leadership Sioux Falls program. The work Kayla does directly affects workforce development and the growth of future leadership in Sioux Falls. Her success has a direct impact on growth and development in Sioux Falls, and it is evident in her results. Congratulations, Kayla.
Continuing with the category of supporting excellence. Nominees for this award excel in their support role and are self-directed and driven to support the mission and goals of their organization. The nominees in this category are Jessica Bickett, Lisa Brunk, Ann Degg, Mary Donnelly, Rachel Hangman, Joy Lind, Maureen Ohm, Kelsey Schroeder, Kathleen Thurman, and Crystal Wolf-Gehring. This year's 2021 Supporting Excellence Award goes to Lisa Brunk from Sanford Health.
Congratulations, Lisa! Lisa, we are so proud of you. You are awesome. You rock, sister.
Way to go! Congratulations!
Okay.
Lisa is the definition of resolve. When she sees an issue, she sets out to fix it immediately. She is eager to learn and make improvements in herself and her coworkers. As the senior gift shop associate at Sanford Health, she leads by example and is always available for questions. Her strong work ethic and limitless energy and enthusiasm motivates the rest of the team to work the same qualities. Often patients' families will visit the gift shop just to take a break from the patients' rooms. Lisa takes the time to visit with them, listen, and cry with them. During the pandemic, she took on additional responsibilities, including coordinating and leading the sewers of the mask program. This resulted in over 22,000 masks being made. Lisa also created a hair salon on campus for employees so that they could get their hair cut during the shutdown. The initiative resulted in over 400 haircuts and raised over $10,000 for the Employee Crisis Fund. Lisa volunteers as a United Way champion within her department and uses her own funds to buy gifts for the children in the castle each Christmas. Congratulations, Lisa.
I think we need a break in the action, don't you?
For sure.
Let's hear from Lori Clausen at Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield of South Dakota on her perspective of the Women in Business event. And then let's give away another prize.
Personally, this event means to me the opportunity to bring talented women from across South Dakota together on a day to learn and interact with one another and celebrate successes. I think events like this, as a woman in business, events like this were very important to build camaraderie and those connections and that trust with other women in the business profession, because when I started, it was early 80s, and especially the insurance industry, it was really a male-dominated field, and so those connections with other women in leadership roles were extremely important to me.
Wellmark has provided a $150 Hy-Vee gift card and a 10-punch card to Revolution Cycle. Let's spin that wheel again. I believe there's over 400 people on it to see who our next winner will be. And our winner is Melinda Elise.
I just love hearing these stories. Our community is filled with women like this. So inspiring. And now, moving on to our next category, entrepreneurial excellence. Nominees for this award must have the confidence, conviction, and tenacity to take a high potential business and scale it into a market leader. This year, we have 8 outstanding nominees in this category. They are Addie Graham Kramer, Janine Hoff-Lubin, Kay Cook, Shelley Cook, Danielle Konechny, Carla Santi, Jody Schwan, and Lindsay Swenson. And this year's 2021 Entrepreneurial Excellence Award goes to Shelley Cook with K&J Trucking.
Congrats, Shelley.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Shelley. You're the best.
Way to go, Shelley.
Congratulations, Shelley.
Congrats, Shelley.
Congratulations, Shelley.
Congratulations, Shelley.
Congratulations.
Congrats, Shelley.
Congrats, Mom. Congrats, Shelley.
Congratulations, Shelley. Congrats, Shelley.
Congratulations on your nomination, Shelley.
Congrats, Shelley.
Well done. You live your faith, and I'm so proud of you.
We're all very proud of you.
I love you.
Congrats.
In 1991, at the age of only 29, Shelley was compelled into senior leadership at her parents' company because her dad had suddenly passed away. In those early days, men in the industry made bets on how long it would take her to fail. Refusing to become bitter and relying on her strong faith, Shelley took on that challenge and used it as fuel to empower other women and men to succeed. Over the last 30 years, her dynamic personality and business acumen has grown K&J Trucking into a thriving premier carrier and a multi-million-dollar business in the Sioux Falls community. Anyone who works in the industry knows that your business can only be as strong as your workforce. While most industry companies have turnover rates of 90% or higher, her company maintains a turnover rate of just 10%. There are very few industry companies that can boast of multiple employees with 25-plus year tenures. This is not just because of Shelley, of course, but it is because of the systems and culture that she has created and nurtured. It is this commitment to excellence that has made her business award-winning year after year. Shelley was recently selected as one of the 2021 Top Women to Watch in Transportation by Women in Trucking, a national advocacy organization. Congratulations, Shelley.
Our final award this evening is Excellence Through the Decades. Each nominee in this category has no doubt made several successful transitions in their career over the years and helped hundreds of people along the way. The nominees in this category are Linda Billers, Terry Carlson, Kay Cox-Huseman, Deb Fisher-Clemens, Sherry Castine, Carol Shenaha, Shirley Stenseth, and Bernice Johnson. This year's 2021 Excellence Through the Decades goes to Deb Fisher-Clemens of Avera.
Congratulations, Deb. You are incredibly deserving of this award. What a great example you have been to me and so many other women of a life of service. Your work on issues such as healthcare legislation and specific issues such as sexual assault nursing and human trafficking have helped so many lives across South Dakota. Thank you for all that you do, and congratulations.
Deb began her career in Sioux Falls, then wore many hats as a registered nurse in Burke, South Dakota, before landing at a hospital in Mitchell, where she spent 25 years. She became director of the ICU and was later the first nurse director in South Dakota to cover 2 units, both the ICU and medical surgical unit. Her interest in public health and policy led her to win a seat in the South Dakota House of Representatives. That interest evolved into an 18-year career as Senior Vice President of Public Policy for Avera. She has served on several state and national nursing and health boards, various community boards, and was also instrumental in starting an annual conference sponsored by Avera and the Department of Justice, covering pivotal topics such as human trafficking, disabilities, child sexual abuse, opioid abuse, and suicide. Deb has had a true impact in South Dakota, advocating for not only the healthcare industry, but also patients and their families. Deb's own mother had stage 4 breast cancer at a very young age and died of the disease. Near the end of her life, Deb's mother wanted to travel and enjoy life. She had advanced care directives on file with her doctor at home, but when traveling, there was no way to ensure her wishes would be carried out. Deb worked tirelessly for over 20 years with others to pass a bill in South Dakota to allow terminal patients to create a medical order for standard treatment. A MOST is voluntary and helps ensure that a patient's wishes are known and honored by the patient's loved ones and healthcare providers. It's transportable and prevents the use of unwanted medical interventions. Again, congratulations, Deb.
Yes, a heartfelt congratulations to all of the SME Women of Excellence nominees and winners. And I believe we have just enough time for our last sponsor giveaway from our friends at MIDCO. But first, let's hear from Kim Burma with her thoughts on why women in business is so important to her.
You know, it's all not about Sioux Falls. It's all of the surrounding communities. Women come from, at least 50-mile radius. So it's fun to see that there's people from all over coming and to meet those people, those women that are up for awards, and you hear about their stories and you get to learn so much more about different people and their accomplishments or their struggles and how they've made it in business. And it's very heartwarming. You get to hear a lot of educational material. You do get to do some fun networking and look at the trade fair. There's a lot to learn. I don't know if I can pinpoint one thing, but I think it's just going to be a very packed full day of fun and education.
MIDCO has provided a $250 downtown Sioux Falls gift card. Let's spin the wheel to see who gets to walk away with this awesome prize. All right, and the winner is Bobby Blath. Congratulations, Bobby.
Wow, it's been an incredible week, and we have one more important element. Olivia and I had the privilege to spend some time with our keynote speaker, and it is truly an honor and absolute joy to have her virtually here with us tonight.
Say the name Erin Brockovich and you think strong, tough, and stubborn. Erin is all that and definitely more. She thrives on being the voice for those who don't know how to yell. She is a rebel. She is a fighter. She is a mother. She is a woman. She is you and me. It's been over 15 years since Julia Roberts starred in the Oscar-winning tour de force, Erin Brockovich. The story of how Erin, a single mother struggling to make a living, crossed paths with lawyer Ed Mastery in a meeting that changed the course of their lives forever. The film turned an unknown legal researcher into a 20th century American icon by showcasing how her dogged persistence was the impelling force behind the largest medical settlement lawsuit in history.
Since the movie, Miss Brockovich has continued to challenge and champion various causes, from rebuilding a dilapidated park in downtown Manhattan to hosting the Lifetime TV series Final Justice with Erin Brockovich, to authoring several books, including her recent release, Superman's Not Coming, Our National Water Crisis and What We the People Can Do About It. Erin's notoriety has allowed her to spread positive messages of personal empowerment and to encourage others to stand up and make a difference. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Erin Brockovich.
Hi, everybody. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful introduction. Thank you so much. And I am so excited to be here today. I wish we were together. I miss that so much, but we are still here today and I'm ready to go. So hello, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And it's just a pleasure to be here with all of you. Well, let me start off by introducing myself. I'm Erin Brockovich, and most of you might recognize the name or know of my work or of me through the film starring Julia Roberts. I guess I'll break the ice and let all of you know, because it still seems to confuse so many people today. I am Erin Brockovich, not Julia Roberts. And, pause for laughter. It's just been such a strange and unusual experience for me, from everything from the day that movie came to being here in front of you now. Time has gone by so fast. I started my work back in the early 90s, and today I was such a young woman at that time, 30 years old. I am now 60 and the grandmother of 4. I still work in the environment and fight for clean water across the nation and throughout our world. And I am truly baffled as time has gone on. I actually thought things would get better, but in fact, they have been getting worse. We are truly at a critical tipping point. While it feels daunting, and it is, we are now dealing with a pandemic. And I have seen over and over again in my work throughout every community I am with across this nation, our resiliency. And today, while it's daunting, I am more hopeful than I have ever been, truly, as I see we the people are in a great awakening. It has been through my work that I have seen every single time the power of a community, the power of the collective, especially the power of women. I am here to say, and I mean this, and I've seen it over and over again, when you start dealing with one pissed off mom in a town, I'm telling you, get out of the way, because they are in it to the end to find out what's happening. And I see that happening across this country. We as women, we as moms, we are on the move, we are on the rise, and we can change the course of events. I've often pondered myself where our strength comes from. And I'm going to do something a little different today in opening up with you and share my thoughts on that. For me, my strength has always come from and been my connection to the environment. And today I hope to weave through some stories and share a thought or two that might hopefully inspire you to reimagine or rethink and find again the hope and the strength that is uniquely you. I'd like to start today with water. And no, I'm not going to talk just about water today, but water is the one denominator that connects us all. It's never a soundbite, but it's a story, and it's all of our stories. I'm going somewhere with this, so bear with me for just a moment. Water is of major importance to all living things. In some organisms, up to 90% of their body weight comes from water. Up to 60% of the human adult body is water. The brain and heart are composed of 73% water, and the lungs, 83% water. The more I work in the environment, the more I have realized that the environment has led me down a road, a journey into my own self-discovery. Just like the force of the ocean smashing upon the cliffs that over time erode the surface, where we can begin to see what is really beneath the rock. What makes some cliffs fall and some cliffs stand the test of time? The face of the earth, such as ourself, is changed by erosion and deposition. Agents of erosion include wind, moving water, and ice. When rocks are exposed to the atmosphere, they undergo a chemical weathering, much like us. The energy possessed by running water in a river is responsible for carving the hills and valleys and forming existing shapes. The tremendous energy of waves cause erosion and create and change the magnificent coastal landforms where we love to gather and stand in awe. I have learned through my work and my connection to the environment that a very similar process was and is also occurring within me. I have ultimately realized the environment was actually peeling back the layers of me, of who I am, and what was lying beneath the surface of my own flesh. To understand me was to understand the environment, and vice versa. I too, you and me, can stand the forces against all odds. I look at it this way, because we are water. We carry that same energy, the brilliance, the beauty, the strength, the awe-inspiring planet is in fact us. If you look at a satellite photo and you see the vast and countless, endless tributaries, it almost looks just like the veins that run through our body. And the water that is moving through these tributaries is the blood surging through our very own veins. I see the tide each day moving in and out, taking a breath, just as we. During this most difficult time in our history, through this pandemic, I hope we have been able to stop and connect again to this planet, our home, its strength, its energy, its sheer force, its ability to adapt. Remember, that resides within you. We have the same capabilities, but somehow we became disconnected from that environment and therefore have disconnected and are feeling lost ourselves. It is time right now to reconnect, reset, and realize that we are this very environment, and this very environment has endured and stood the test of time. And so shall we. So let me digress for just a moment, and it might help explain all of my fascination with this amazing planet that we live on. I grew up close to you in the Midwest, in Lawrence, Kansas, to be exact. And since I was a little girl, I have often felt different and oftentimes out of place, and most often found myself somewhere outside, playing in the creeks and catching fireflies, watching with fascination the synchronized movements of the wheat fields moving in the wind. I was in awe of the weather and what it could bring, much like my moods. I would stand out in the snowstorm and catch a snowflake on my tongue. I would dance in the rain. It's such a wonderful feeling. I love the warmth of sunshine basking on my face and a cool breeze on a hot and humid day. See, for me, it was in this very place, in this very space, that I could actually hear my thoughts. I could actually feel my heart beating. A place where I felt accepted was in my environment. Now, I know this may sound strange or possibly over the top for some, but it wasn't for me. I was connected to the earth and the elements, and yet I was very disconnected in so many areas of my life, and certainly in my schooling, all because I'm a dyslexic. I learned differently. I process differently. And back in the day, when it came to education, I saw it as a standard of conformance. I saw and I felt that it was a system that, because I didn't fit inside that perfect little box, that I was different and that wasn't good. If there's any one message I would love to share with everyone today, let me assure you, different is good. The process of learning felt so restrictive for me, and I was never allowed to have that hands-on experience. I am very visual, and I think that most of us are. And seeing is believing, and seeing and touching is owning it and knowing it. And I wasn't ever able to do that. So I felt like I was stuck in the box, in that box of self-limitations. And I wanted out. I wanted to punch my way out of there. And it's because of this that I tuned out that environment and I tuned into something that was very natural to me outside the elements, the environment. I was connected there. I could tell you the weather was going to change before it changed. I could feel the storm coming. I observed it. I sensed it. I was a part of it. We can all do this in our lives if we can take the time to just stop. You know, we're always looking back there and we're always looking up front in the future, but to stop and be present in the moment. We're here in this pandemic, and I believe that it gave us the hard stop. Boom. We were spinning, we were moving, and it stopped. But we will emerge from this wiser and stronger. The world stopped spinning for a moment, and we began to reconnect. We began to look around. It's the refresh moment. It's the reboot moment. It's the start of a new beginning. And I believe that we are in that great awakening. So as I said earlier, my disability was causing me some problems, but I had one of the greatest teachers of all, and we all have one, my mom. Aren't moms amazing? We as women are truly rising. And my mom, she was always my cheerleader. She was a journalist and a sociology major, and she was tapped into me. She knew that something was different, and she always told me that just because I was different didn't mean I was inferior. She knew my self-esteem was in doubt and didn't want that to slip away. She would often say to me that while others might see me as a loser, that was their perception, but it didn't have to be my perception of how I saw myself. I had the power of choice, and I could choose to see and think for myself of who and what I would become. I was always coming home feeling dejected, and my mom would say, "Oh, Erin, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. You have to find your stick-to-itiveness." I was like, oh, okay, well, what the hell does that word even mean? I said to her, "It's stupid. It's not helping me. It's making me feel worse, and you've made it up." I quickly learned otherwise as she brought out the dictionary and read me the definition of a word I apply to my life every single day. Stick-to-itiveness. Propensity to follow through in a determined manner. Dogged persistence born of obligation and stubbornness. See, this I understood. After all, my middle name is stubborn. We aren't necessarily born with this stick-to-itiveness. Rather, we have to develop the habit of persevering even when we don't want to, and it would be easier to give up. I think of it this way. It's like the Super Bowl of life, and we are all in it. When you get into the game and you've got that ball, you know coming into it, you might get knocked down. And when you do, when that moment comes and you get knocked down, you don't just throw the ball down on the field and walk off. I mean, imagine if we did that. Imagine what the fans would be doing. They'd be going, "Well, go, get back in there, get in the game." Life can knock us down and sometimes push us around. But I assure you, there will be a pass that you're going to catch. You'll pick up 10 yards. And on the next play, you might get knocked down. Someone might push you back 30 yards. But you know what you do? You get back on that field and you go at it again. And this time, you could run for 50 yards. You muster up that stick-to-itiveness. You run 60 yards. You run 70 yards. You can see the end and the field goal. And what do? You crossed that line. You made that touchdown. You had that stick-to-itiveness. You persevered and you kept pushing through. It's so important, those fans in the stadium, because they are your support system. They keep cheering you on. And that is what my mom was for me. That is what so many of us as moms are to our children. So stick-to-itiveness. I use that word every single day. And like my mom said, life will require that you have it. You know, there was another really strong woman in my life that really changed my life. And it was my school teacher. Her name was Kathy Borseth. This was a woman that would think outside of the box. One day in class, as usual, I was practically running out the door when the bell rang. She stopped me. And I was like, oh no, I knew what was going to happen. We just had a pop quiz and I knew I had failed. She was curious about this and she said, Erin, you know everything in class. You always raise your hand. You have the answers right. But when I give you a test, you fail. I told her I had something that they called dyslexia. But you know what? She didn't bat an eye. She made no judgment, no excuses. She just said, okay, well, how about this? If I were to give you this test right now orally, do you think you could pass it? I said, absolutely. And she said, okay, let's give it a try. And I said, game on. So guess what? We did just that, and I got an A. From that moment on, she gave me all tests, all finals, all pop quizzes orally. And lo and behold, each and every time, I got an A+. I got an A+ for the semester. My GPA went up and my self-esteem sailed right along with it. I started to feel better. I knew I could, but I wasn't given that chance outside of a box to show it. And she gave me that gift. She found another way to support me and my mind and what I knew and helped me to unlock it. I could chat with you guys all day. In the beginning, I said I really wished I was there, and I do, because I love the moment where we can share thoughts and ideas and stories and things that inspire us. And I don't have that much time because we would be here all day if I kept on going. So having grown up, I want you to know I went on with life. I went on to college. I had a family of my own. And I ended up in a car wreck that landed me at the law firm of Massery and Vidito. It was here that I stumbled upon the contamination in a small desert town in Hinckley, California. So you know what? You never know what the tide will bring. The moment I stepped out in this town, I knew something was wrong. Again, I was in that moment. I was standing in that environment, and I could feel it. It was eerie and familiar to me all at the same time. I could feel the suppression and the oppression that was in the air. I could see that the trees were dying. I could see that the animals were sick. And the more I snooped, the more I asked questions, the more it upset certain people, specifically within the company. I will never forget listening to others saying to me, you're not a doctor, you're not a lawyer, you're not a scientist. What do you know? And it was in this moment that I went, oh, here we go again. In the box. If you're not this, if you're not that, therefore you can't be that. I think we all hear that throughout their life. And I was like, oh, no. I've been here. My instincts were intact. I had this. And I was like, well, let me tell you something. I don't have to be any of that or to fit inside that so-called box, to be a human. And to tell you that what I see, the two-headed frogs, the green water in your wells coming out of your tap, is wrong, and that something isn't right. Now, in that moment, I used language way more colorful than I'm sharing with you today, but I just don't know that I should be dropping F-bombs all across the board because I could do that. So I was definitely very animated and very frustrated, and I could see. And what I see, I knew. And what I see and I know, and I owned, and I wasn't going to let somebody push me off of that. It was here where I didn't realize it at the time, but I've put it in a way that I can share with you, something that I was applying and I use, and I call it the 4 L's. The first L is logic. What is logic anyway? I think it's our common sense. And I share it or I think of it this way. So here's common sense. And I used a lot of it growing up in Kansas, and I still use a lot of it today. It's almost your instincts. So when I was outside playing, and as I shared with you, I could feel weather happening, and all of us can if you're just in the moment and observe it. And when the skies got dark and you could see the thunderheads developing and all of a sudden the birds were quiet, you could feel the air pressure different. Tornado sirens would go off. Well, in that moment, I didn't stop to think I should call the Weather Channel to ask if it's an F4 or an F5. Rather instinctually, in that common sense set of skills, told me to get to safety. I think of a newspaper article or a headline that reads, "Your municipal water tainted with rat poison." Do you call the National Institute of Health and go, well, mine's at 2 parts per billion. They say it's safe at 5 parts per billion. Should I drink it? Or does common sense tell you not to? Logic is your common sense. And I have learned that when you use your common sense, you will logically do the right thing. And I went with that when I began my work in Hinckley, and I was spot on. The next L is leverage. Oftentimes, I think we should rename some words in our language or have a different meaning for them, because leverage oftentimes means, uh-oh, you're doing something bad. You're going to leverage this for bad, or you're going to leverage the money or something. But actually, leverage is really good. It is the power of people. It is the collective. And that's what we did in Hinckley. You know, 1 + 1 in math is 2. But in principle, 1 + 1 equals 3 or 5 or 7 or 10 more, because as we all started working together, that number, that momentum went from 5 to 50 to 500 to 1,000. That leverage helped lift us and that voice to be heard. Logic, common sense, leverage the power, not only of an individual, but of a community. Loyalty. Loyalty is your stick-to-itiveness. I knew that all too well. Dogged persistence, born of obligation and stubbornness. Logic, leverage, loyalty. And the last L, you might have guessed it, is love. You know, you'd be out in life, and I was out in Hinckley, you'd often wonder, what is my why? Why am I here? Why am I here in Hinckley? Why am I up against something that everyone says I couldn't possibly do? What is that motivating factor? And for me, it was love of those people, love of my family and children, and seeing those people, and could that be me? And yes, in fact, it could be. My love for the environment, my love for health, freedom, all of that it really dawned on me that love becomes our greatest motivator. And I think of this so often, especially now, again, with the turmoil, and there feels like there's just so much angst and hate. Ask yourself, we don't get up every day to go take on a fight like this, or get a part and be a part of that rat race because we hate, because we love water, we love health, we love our families, we love our future. All of that is what came together for me in my work. And I continue to use it today. Logic, leverage, loyalty, and a place of love. So the rest, if you will, is history. And if you saw the film, what we had done was we had come together. We had uncovered a truth that had been hidden, of people being poisoned. We found some justice for them, and we started a long process towards cleaning up the environment. As I said, I hope today just sharing a story or two could help inspire you in your own life. And in limited time, I'll kind of start wrapping around and coming to a closing. And I'll tell you, it's been a journey for me. And it's been a journey of my own self-discovery that I created a program. It's a guideline, if you will, that I call RAM. It's being the RAM. I'm fascinated with how majestic a ram is, how confident a ram is, coming down those rocks and slippery rocks and rocks that are breaking apart, and the confidence that they know how to step and where to step. And I have found that so awe-inspiring. So RAM is about realizing, assessing, and motivating none other than yourself. R is for the realization. We need to really look no further than to the person staring back at you in the mirror. It's hard to see ourselves. It can be hard to be honest with ourselves. And oftentimes we look to others to define who we are. But don't be afraid to see the person in the mirror and embrace who you are. I have found that honoring my flaws and my weaknesses actually empowers me to be okay with me. Oftentimes, we look to others to validate us, to reaffirm that we can or we shouldn't be doing something, when we need to realize that you, that person in the mirror has got this. Even if feeling uncertain, you need to get behind yourself, get with your decisions, and trust it. We always self-doubt. You know what you see, you know what you're feeling, you know what you're experiencing. To look at yourself and trust in that. Don't question yourself. The silence of a negative voice isn't so silent. And I know I've got one up here in my head, and I think all of us do. It's this voice constantly running around. You shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. So-and-so said this, you shouldn't do this, and da-da-da. It's like, I just like, shut up, be quiet up there. You've got to throw that negative self-doubt out the window and find that positive voice to look at the person standing in front of you and embrace it. Forgive yourself for any shortcomings and see the good. Blow yourself a kiss every single morning and realize that no matter what the day may throw at you, you've got this, because you can see, believe, and embrace who you are. Flaws, vulnerabilities, and all. I like to own it. I like to own my mistakes. I like to own those things, because I've learned that very flaw, that very vulnerability, the very dyslexia that I thought would be my downfall actually became my gift. Realize the power of you. A, it's for assessment. This is about taking a process and taking stock, not in what you have, but in who you are. It isn't about the cars that we drive or the clothes that we wear, even though it's nice and all of us want things like that. This is about the character of us, the courage, the heart, the value and love of our family, caring for our environment, our health, honesty, transparency. This is the content of what matters to us. It's the who of the what that we are. Accept and own your own shortcomings and don't beat yourself up over every mistake that you've made. Rather, reevaluate your ideas and your attitude. And if you see something you don't like about yourself, so what? Don't be afraid to change it. I think of it like real estate. So you have a home and you want to sell it, and they come out and appraise it, and the appraisal is a little low. Oh, what do? Well, we'll go in and change some things, right? We'll fix some things. Maybe we'll put in a new bathtub. Maybe we'll change some landscaping. Maybe we'll put in a new floor and replace the carpet. But all these little changes make an overall change, and the assessment goes up. The value can go up. And that is exactly what we can do for ourselves. It's never too late to change. It's never too late to go back to school. And so go in there, and if there's something you don't like, don't be afraid to make a change. And when you do, it can be very empowering, because the assessment of how it is you see and perceive who you are only goes up. Remember, even a caterpillar must dissect itself in order to morph into a butterfly. It can be hard, as I said, to see that person in the mirror, but realize once you do, and that you do have faults, that you have the choice, the chance, the opportunity, the ability, if there's something you see you don't like, that you can change. And finally, M is all about the motivation. We all know someone who is talented, but not always successful. And we all know someone who is not so talented, but is very successful. And what is the difference between the two? I'm telling you, it's your motivation. And I get it. It can be really hard to stay motivated. It requires constant positivity, constantly thinking positive. So today, make it your habit. When you go negative, immediately go, nope, not today. Go positive. Turn hopeful. It's easy to lose our mojo. I'm like you know, my gosh, I think I could break out into a Beatles song at this point. I am you, you are me, we are all together, because we are. And it can be really hard to keep your motivation going. We are in a world that is spinning faster and faster and faster. There has been less and less time to do the things that motivate us, the things that we enjoy. We've all been sucked into this life and this new world, and we've been running at warp speed. You know, I'd always said, we keep this up, we're going to crash and burn. We're going to burn out. And then we got hit. And then we've had the pandemic. And I don't know, as awful as it's been, if this wasn't the stop moment for us. We got pushed down. We got shut down. And we needed to reboot, refresh, and begin to process all this data that's been coming in. And it was broken, but we kept looking past it. As I said earlier, and I will say it again, it's a great awakening. And it is an awakening, a moment that I truly look forward to. For everything that we've even touched upon that wasn't always addressed is here in front of us now. I know you know it. I know it. You can see it. You can feel it. We may have crashed, but it is that reboot. It is that reset. It is that refresh. It is looking at the now, the environment that does exactly what I was talking about in the beginning. We are that environment. We can be that water. We are that force. We will have that resiliency. I know it. And even though it's been painful and we've been pushed into that reset, we will emerge on the other side. We will be stronger and we will be better. There's a trick to staying motivated, and that is finding your own voice. And to do that oftentimes takes a moment for self-renewal, something we often don't give ourselves. And I feel as women, we do this. We give to everybody. It's our family, our spouses, our children, our lives, our home, our work. And when do we really stop? Because we think it's selfish if we take me time, but it's not. We need that moment, all of us, for self-renewal. It's about rebalancing our lives and what is important to us. Our brains have been on overload for a really long time. And even a great computer, when it's uploading too much information at once, we all know what happens. That blue dot just spins and spins and spins. And if it can't process it, boom, it's down. And that's what can happen to us. So today, we are in a reboot. And I'm going to ask you this. Even if it's just for 1 hour, put the phone down. Shut the noise off. Jump off the merry-go-round. You may stumble and fall, but you're going to get back up. And take the time for your own self-renewal. Take a walk. Stop, oh my gosh, for a moment to check and see if you were breathing. When is the last time we literally stopped and smelled the rose? Stop and notice the freshness of the rain. Run outside and catch a snowflake on your tongue. Listen to the sounds of the world around you. The birds chirping, a child laughing as they play, the warmth of the sun on your face, the freshness of a breeze that moves across your skin. And just for a moment, breathe like the ocean waves, in and out. And you'll find a synchronization. And you'll move into tomorrow. Every single day, this amazing planet is speaking to us. And if we can stop and take the time to notice, you'll find out that it can inspire you. It can empower you. The ground upon which you stand is in fact holding you. It is supporting you. It is in this very place that you can hear your thoughts. You can feel your heart beating. You can feel the inspiration of your breath. And you will once again find your motivation. You will find your why, and you will rise up because you can hear and you can see and you can find yourself, your core. It's the beginning of everything. That's what you need to make strong. That's what you need to shore up. That's what you need to embrace. That's what you need to believe in, is the power of you. There will always be a day that you're going to feel like you're at the bottom of the barrel. I've been there. There's been days where I've thrown myself on that floor and allowed myself to just cry out for a good hour. So what? I felt better. But remember, stand back up, push back, find your stick-to-itiveness. Remember the 4 L's. You've got that common sense, that instinct. It's innate. It's in you. That's your logic, the leverage. Bring in your community. We support one another. The loyalty, that stick-to-itiveness, the motivator of why we're up, because we love. Be the ram. And when you do, I can almost guarantee you, I will promise you that you're going to discover the power of yourself, and you will realize there is no obstacle you cannot surmount. There is no challenge you cannot meet, and there is no fear you cannot conquer, no matter how impossible it may seem. You will need to look no further than to the person standing before you in the mirror to make that change. I believe in you. I believe in me. I believe in all of us. So today, put the phone down. Take that deep breath. Realize you are a ram. Realize you are the water. You have the strength. You have the resiliency. You have the endurance. You got this. So thank you very much, and go get them. I wished I was there with all of you, but I'm there in spirit. It's going to be a good day.
Wow, Erin, that was amazing. I've learned so much. You're so inspiring. If we have a few moments, are you ready for a couple questions?
Absolutely, if you are. You know, I always worry about time. It's very different here in the virtual world. But of course, I've already told you I can talk with you all day, and I can stay here with you all day and continue talking and answering any questions you have.
I would love it. I don't know about you. You have such a way about you that I feel like you're in our living room right now. So, in fact, you are virtually.
I could just reach out and touch you.
So I'm sure many people approach you with projects for your help, and you can't say yes to everything. Do you have a process, or how do you discern what projects you say yes to and get involved with?
That's an excellent question. And, you know, I actually, you touched upon my new book, and I'm glad you did, Superman's Not Coming. And where I've learned it's more helpful to get involved is when the community's already organized or willing to get organized. These environmental issues are in every state and every single corner across this nation and across this globe. And it's very daunting. But I have found that when you get in one community, they're always, and this is where the pissed off moms come from, 99.99% of the time, it's one mom. She's got a hunch. Somebody's lying to her. Something isn't right. She feels it. She goes with it. She stays with it. And then she starts to bring in the collective. And that helps us be able to take more on, because that woman, that community is there. And then we can get to the next place and ignite it. So it is the spread, the power of the people that can help me reach more. And so oftentimes, you know, information is powerful. Knowledge is powerful. And many times when somebody emails me and has already done some background, helps me quicker get to there, get them organized, and they can go, and then I can go here. So that makes a big difference in how I can get everywhere I need to be, because it's all about you too, and you being there.
Sure, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, what are your words of wisdom for maybe the future activist or someone who is inspired to make change right now?
What I talked about, don't let anyone else define you. I have seen too many times young people think, you know, I'm not good at math or science. And if we get into a conversation, I can almost see them move away. I see communities do that. And it's truly about knowing yourself and being able to tune out. We've all experienced it. Let's be honest. We have a perception of who you are, or a judgment, or your own judgments, perceptions of standing in your own way to think that you can't do math or you can't do science. Yes, you can. My words of wisdom to them would be what I've learned. Don't let that voice or someone else's perception of who they think you are get in your head and you define yourself that way. Believe that you can find the courage, step out. If you try something like, in school or math or science and you don't like it, you can change those things. And so don't be too hard on yourself. Give yourself the opportunity. But most importantly, don't look for the hero. Be the hero. Find your courage, find that strength, find the fortitude, the gumption. Think of yourself again as water. The force, the resiliency, the ebbs and the flows, and you can go carve your own hills and valleys in life. And you make that decision for yourself. So it's about putting away a negative noise in your head that says you can't, when you need to say to yourself, yes, you can.
You mentioned that the environment is very important to you, that nature is important, and it's important to stay refreshed and balanced. Do you have a typical day or a routine to help you stay in the zone, stay ready for what's coming?
It's madness. I recognize myself. This is about realizing yourself. I recognize I'm getting irritated, or I'm snapping, or I'm like all over the place. And it's almost my cue to stop. It's that 10-second pause, and I will go stand outside. I will take a deep breath. Even if the weather's bad, I'm going to enjoy it. Oh, I love the smell of fresh rain. That's just happened to me, and we had some rain here in Southern California. Or, oh God, that sun feels good. And just give yourself that second to break. But you have to recognize it, and it takes a lot of time. But when you're feeling like your head's just going to blow off, that's your cue to just stop for a second, just break. Even if it's for 10 minutes, do some jumping jacks, tell your grandchild, wherever you may be, something like that. That is always what I've done, and it helps me. You just got to kind of break that thought for a moment and that frustration and bring it back to, it's just a moment. It's going to pass, and it's how you handle it that will make all the difference in the world. So don't be afraid to just disconnect for a second and reboot.
So you have had quite the resume since the movie came out with Julia Roberts. Most recently, you wrote a book, Superman's Not Coming. What is next for you on things that you want to do next, I guess?
Well, I think I'm safe to talk about it now. I wrote the book, Superman's Not Coming. It is about our national water crisis, but it's about really everything. It is always about what we, the people, can do about it, what you can do about it. It is about that collective. And, oftentimes in my work, you wait for some, federal oversight or something to just come down and change it and fix it. That's not what's happening. I can assure you that it is one person, one woman in one community that rises up with that collective, that gets involved at a local level, that changes a system, changes a water system, changes so much. Imagine if every one of us in every community, in every little town did that across America. We'd be lighting this place up. We make that difference. So Superman's Not Coming is such a great message. And people are like, well, that seems daunting. That's scary. Are you kidding me? It's awesome. Superman's Not Coming is not a big deal because we are here. You're here. You can take action. We got this. We just do. And so one of my new projects, and I'm really excited about it, is a television show. It's a legal drama series on ABC. It's called Rebel, and I'm an executive producer. And, there's a rebel in all of us, right? And it's played by Katie Seagal. And we're going to weave you through a whole lot of different arcs in life based on an environmental issue or a medical device, but watching the people and how they rise through vulnerabilities and fears and tumultuous times to get through to the end, and it's called Rebel. And so I'm really looking forward to that. I've found out, especially with the film Erin Brockovich, oftentimes if we can just sit back and be out of ourselves for a moment and watch something, it can resonate with us. And we walk away going, I didn't know that was going on. Is that going on? I'm going to find out if that's going on. I can be that. I can be her. I am that. And we find that empowerment. And so I believe Rebel will bring that through the TV screens to many that they will resonate with and go, there you go. Got it. Gonna do it. And that empowerment, that enthusiasm, that energy, that for me is just vibrates across this world, keeps us going and makes a change. So I'm really excited about being an executive producer on ABC's new television series, Rebel, starring Katie Seagal.
Do you have a new mentor, or are you the mentor now?
I, believe it or not, have found great inspiration from my kids. And I had one of my mentors just fascinates me, and it's my firstborn granddaughter. And she's special needs. She has a rare syndrome. Man, she inspires me every day. She pushes through to walk and to talk and to thrive. And I am so awe-inspired by her. And even though she's a young 8-year-old girl, the determination she possesses to be is mind-blowing. I watch Grace and I learn from Grace, and I get great inspiration from my own children now. And as I watch them flourish, I have inspiration throughout communities and watching the women rise, and people inspire me every single day. And believe me, I'm not perfect. There's days I'm like thinking this. I'm just in that mindset, and then I'll be in a community and there will be someone and I'm like, oh, that was fascinating. People.
Yeah.
Everyday people down on the ground. They have great insight and great wisdom. So I am more often than not inspired by many every single day. Now, I'm not the mentor now. I have tools that I think help, and I definitely like to mentor people. But life is I just am amazed every single day by young people and older people, and my granddaughter and my own children, women in the community. They're everywhere.
To keep that curiosity factor. People are fascinating. I love to learn and hear people's stories and what motivates them. And you're right, it inspires us as well.
I would think, I know it does. And this is why, you have these forums, and I've spoken at them, and it's true. There's a great energy and camaraderie that exists with us, and we learn and are inspired by each other every day. Well, I hope you all have fun and a great event. It's so nice meeting you.
We'll send you a t-shirt. Thank you so much, Erin. I know I probably speak for myself and Olivia and the whole crew here in Sioux Falls. We couldn't be more pleased to have you be our keynote today. If you're ever in the neighborhood, please stop by. We're a welcoming group. And I don't know, Olivia, do you have anything more you'd like to share?
I've been to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and you are welcoming, and you are amazing, and it's beautiful, and I'm going to take you up on that offer. I so wish I was there today, but we are still here virtually. Thank you for having me and the opportunity, and you got to be careful next time I'm in town. I'm going to give you a call.
We'll be ready. We'll light the torches for you.
There you go. That is one thing in closing that, again, there's so much to share, and I squeezed it and had so much in 40 minutes. But when you say that, I want to leave that with all of you. I was privileged to pass the Olympic torch, and I'll never forget that day because I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, it was raining, and I had put makeup on to go pass the torch. It's like, who does that? It was like running down my face. But I was really nervous because the person that was supposed to tell me, you know, when to start running and stuff, I wasn't around. I'm like, what am I? I've been thrown into something. This is great. I don't know what to do. Where am I supposed to go? How fast? I mean, I was just going off in my head. And the person, my sponsor, finally came out and said, okay, the torch is coming. And I'm like looking for it, and they're like, you need to get ready to run. And I'm like, okay, do I go fast? They said, no, just start a little bit of running. I'm like, okay, jogging. And here's everyone, you know, yay, the torch is coming. Go, Erin, you got this. And I'm thinking, oh, this is really great. But what am I doing? What am I supposed to do? And the sponsor says, okay, Erin started turning around. I'm like, why? He goes, the torch is coming. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? He goes, reach it, grab it. And I was like, oh, okay. So I got the torch, and the minute I took it, I just went, oh, yes, I know where to go. I had no idea, but the minute I got it, I knew it. And that's what I want to pass on to all of you today. The torch, grab it. Don't be afraid of it, even if you don't know where you're going, because boom, the minute you do, you're going to figure it out and you're going to find your way. So I'm so glad you said that. And in closing, I'm going to pass that Olympic torch on to you. Grab it and run with it.
And just like that, another SME Women in Business event is in the books. A special thank you to everyone that participated this year. And I want to make a special shout out to Pinnacle Productions, to Jeff and Marta and Nate and Mario and Thad and Justin. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, but you made this an amazing year. We couldn't have done it without you. On behalf of our planning committee, I sincerely hope you've had a wonderful experience by connecting, growing, leading, and celebrating along with your friends and colleagues.
And we look forward to seeing you in person at next year's Women in Business event.
Take care, everyone, and have a great night.